daily stand-ups waste of time and could have been handled with Slack messages for what folks plan to do that day. Yeah, daily stand-ups, you got to be careful with those. We would actually put time limits on them when things started getting out of hand. Most of the time, though, and we don't do them daily. We do them twice a week. Because other than that, you just need to know what blockers do you have. Is there anything going on that we need to get off the tracks for you?
And that actually, speaking of blockers, that brought me back to something I wanted to say earlier about estimates, and even like timing out estimates, is that estimates have to be fluid, like because things come up, but like it's also really important for us to have just open communication. Like we don't do stand-ups, so like when we get blocked, like it's on us to speak up, but also like these things that come up, these blockers are going to just ruin estimates. Like this latest one I had where I'm on a whole nother project now because of a blocker. So the point I'm really trying to make is that communication is important in estimating too, like when things are going well and when things are not going well.
Yeah, it's true. Andrea, that screams to me like you need stand-ups to find blockers. Your devs don't feel comfortable enough to raise blockers outside of stand-ups. Not really. It's because of how big and distributed our teams are. We like to have, and they're only 15 minutes. I mean, we do 15-minute stand-ups. Most of the time we get them done in 10. But we just like to have a little bit of face time so everybody can kind of talk through stuff. Is the reason. We do actually do a lot of raising issues on Slack. We do that constantly. I probably gripe about things way more than anybody else, but that's because I'm an old grumpy turd. Daily stand-ups, 45 minutes each. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
I couldn't stand up for 45 minutes. It'd be like a daily sit down.
Yeah.
We don't do
standoff.
We don't do stand-ups. You could say we have a company-wide stand-up because we just have one company meeting once a week, Mondays, and we go through like the projects. Somebody gives like a paragraph, like a 20-30 second overview of where they are, so the rest of the company knows. But it's not just devs, it's marketing, it's support, and like that's pretty beneficial because like all these departments get a little bit of just in the know of how the rest of the company is functioning. But outside of that, our stand-up for devs is on Fridays. I mentioned we do project updates, but we use Basecamp and we have a check-in that's like, what did you get done this week? And we use that to just kind of recap, like, this is what my week looked like. And then Monday it asks, like, what are you going to do this week? And I answer that like 5% of the time. So we still have those kind of like opportunities to nudge us, but it is nice that it's not necessarily like X time every morning, which is actually also hard for us because we have employees in the US, Europe, and now in Japan. So it would be hard for us to do those type of stand-ups.
Yeah. Colin, I need to be doing daily sit-ups.
Same.
Both, buddy. Andrew, the face-to-face time is often the reason I've heard when virtual stand-ups have been proposed. Yeah, I mean, face-to-face time, I think, is important in and of itself, because of, human beings. I prefer virtual personally. Meetings wreck my productivity. Yeah, I mean, being careful with meetings is probably a whole other show too. But I will tell you that the reason that one of the other reasons, bringing this back to the estimates thing, one of the reasons that we do these twice a week stand-ups, the face-to-face stand-ups, we do one on Tuesday and we do one on Thursday. And it's because on Tuesday, it's a chance for the PM to say, okay, everybody's estimated their sprint, put their estimates in for their sprint. Are you still comfortable with those a day in? And then kind of the same thing on Thursday. Are you still comfortable with that? Or do we need to start looking at maybe popping some things in the next sprint, or can you take on another short thing tomorrow type of thing. So it's just it's more of a calibration of where is everybody at? Is everybody comfortable with what they said they could do still? That's what those face-to-face meetings mostly do for us. And I think that's an important part of the estimating, because that way the devs and the PMs get to calibrate with each other, say, yeah, we're still on track here, or no, we're having a problem, so let's figure out what new estimate we need to make.
And
In
that's,
regard,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quickly, in regards to no estimates, if I didn't have to give estimates and they were like, go work on this project, I know what I would do. And it's not necessarily deliver as much as like, oh, I need to refactor these 65 files before I can even ship this thing because it needs to be perfect. Like if I don't have some guidelines, I'm going to just do whatever whatever I want that is related. It's near enough to the project that I could justify making some kind of technical improvement, paying some kind of tech deck down. But that also doesn't help necessarily. It helps me maybe feel better about the application for when we need to add new features in the future, but doesn't help us deliver more value necessarily to users. And so somebody's got to give me an estimate. Like somebody's got to keep me in line.
Or you become a tinkerer, because that's what we like to do. You know?
Yeah, so I think it's really important, that calibration thing you mentioned, and the PMs and developers working together. Because, I mean, so when I was a project manager, why do I
taking
always
English
say that?
lessons from me, man?
Oh, well, I'm worse than even you are. When I was a project manager for that Y2K project I did, you know, I had to go to the developers because we had some people that needed to convert the data over to the new system. And I had to say, okay, I need your estimate on how long it's going to take to convert this data. And they're like, I have no idea. And I was like, well, just estimate something. What's the shortest time you think? What's the longest time you think? We'll pick a spot in the middle. But then as the project, and then based upon that, all the estimations for all the tasks, I actually used a Gantt chart, and it, based upon the estimates that everybody had, it flowed down to when the end date would be. And every week we would look at it and say, okay, how is everybody doing on their tasks? And then we needed to rejigger the plan based upon that. So exactly the thing you're talking about, calibrating, saying is something taking too long, is something a little bit short. Hey, maybe, and then I, as the PM, could then adjust the schedule or pull my hair out saying, okay, how are we going to hit the date? Because this thing is now taking longer than it's supposed to. Or then, not that it was supposed to, then was estimated. So if you like this clip and want to watch another one, you can click right here. Or if you want to watch the full video, you can click here.